Biesinger, and this time we are continuing our author read aloud of Xavie of Shamain. We're diving into part 8, covering chapters 10 and 11. If you're new here and want to stay updated on my writing journey, consider joining my newsletter at the link in the description. Last time, Yalonde discovered that she needs to take care of herself and a dragon. Let's see what they find next. Here is part 8. Chapter 10. Mount Chickadee, located in the Shamain region of Boreas, east of Kittat, rises to a height of just over 4,000 meters. This results in a year-round cover of ice and snow at its peak. Mount Chickadee is the highest and most central peak in a group of mountains and their surrounding foothills of the same name. The region is considered uninhabited. While the occasional hunting cabin is set up in the foothills, none are utilized for year-round occupation. At times, the foothills are used as shelter and resource by banned Boreans. Usually, the harsh conditions during winter terminate any such attempt. This massive range raises from a relatively flat surrounding area as a sole rocky discharge. Mount Chickadee is so inhospitable that even at the height of geological exploitation, only minor operations in the lower regions were attempted. Boreaspedia, 25th edition. 22nd June 06, 5th epoch. Yalonde. The valley becomes more and more of a gorge, the path continuously climbing. At places, stairs are hewn into the stone. There is barely any vegetation left, only some hardy grasses here and there, lichen and moss. The path keeps following what looks like a rift in the stone itself. After a particularly steep and narrow section, we emerge onto a plateau. Turning around, it becomes obvious how much height we've gained since the start at the crossroads in that small grove all that time ago. The views toward the south, the west, and the north are unobscured. I can see far and wide for ages over the lands. It is a nice, sunny, and cloudless day, so the lands are clearly observable. It is obvious which areas are inhabited and which are not. Remarkable. I always thought we had gone back to a much less intrusive way of living in concert with our world, and yet it is still plainly and painfully obvious where we live on this world. How must it have been at times humanoids did not care and simply took anything and everything for granted, giving themselves the right to just consume and use. Just thinking about this from this vantage point makes me want to throw up. We are by far not as cautious, as gentle with our world as we make ourselves believe we are. There is so much to be done better. I hope I can contribute my part to this and help move our society towards more balanced, less intrusive ways. I will for sure make this an even stronger emphasis, a more deliberate and intentional focus in what I'll teach Xavie beyond what is already in the general education. Our planet can only take care of us if we take care of her. We are guests, we are stewards for as long as we live. It is our obligation to transfer this world in better condition to the generations that follow us. We might not be remembered as individuals, given enough time, but we will be remembered as a time in society. Just like we remembered the fourth epoch as an epoch of unrest, chiefdoms, warlords, imbalance, and in general aggression and brutality. And this time only ended a few years ago. I'd like our time to be remembered as the time we turned it around and set it right. Completing the circle, looking to the east, there is the towering Mount Chickadee. A path is clearly visible near the foot of the mountainside at the edge of this plateau. This answers where I need to go. Arriving at the cliffside, I find a long stretch of stairs leading this path to a different elevation, to a different level, metaphorically, physically, and literally. We start our climb. It takes a bit more than an hour. At the top of the stairs, the path continues. Not long, and we come across what looks like a cave that has been made a bit more hospitable. The cave mouth has been closed up with some wooden boards and stones and whatever else was available. It looks cobbled together, but at the same time there is an elegance, a beauty to it, and obviously a desperate need for maintenance. Right as I'm lifting my hand to knock, one never knows with this pilgrimage after all, the door opens and a haggard, old-looking male fae steps out. No, not old. Ancient and experienced, friendly. Hermit comes to mind instantly. Peculiar, as should be expected, I guess. Hello, Yalonde. Hi, Xavie. Come on in, let's get you settled in. I'm Omnist, he introduces himself. We enter through the door and stand in a spacious chamber. It looks comfortable, but not quite cozy. There is a table that is made of rough sawn planks. Water runs down as a small rivulet on the right side, caught in a basin. I guess this will be our water supply. At least I do not see any other water or moisture around the place. We'll have a limited water supply, but a dry place to stay. Most of the walls are covered with an assortment of different blankets and throws. A carpet, worn down at places to the thread, covers most of the floor. I can see 2 sectioned off areas in the back, presumably what counts as bedrooms or sleeping places. There are 3 chairs and a good number of cushions of all sizes. These can be used anywhere, in here or out in front. Makes sense. Well, I did not know what to expect. Entering into what looks more like living quarters than a cave was certainly not it. I get that a lot, Omnist the Hermit says, with a mischievous twinkling in his eyes. Did he just wink at me? Letting my gaze wander further around, I see a fresh stock of vegetables, fruit, meat, even milk, butter, and cheese. I do a double take. Now that I'm thinking back, food was always fresh and just there. Until now, I never bothered to notice. What does that say about me, about my ability to observe the most fundamental things? Once again, the same question. You look like you have seen a ghost, or fear to encounter one. I can assure you we are not sharing these quarters with anybody, dead or alive. Omnist's voice interrupts my thoughts. I was just now recognizing that there is always fresh food, but no deliveries or any other obvious means how it got there. To all the stations, actually, and that I have not noticed until now. It's disturbing that something this fundamental slipped my attention. I answer quietly, guiltily. The pilgrimage is designed in a way that hides this detail, Omnist explains. So far, the food stock was not this obviously displayed. So don't take it that personally. We bent a couple rules here. We needed the pilgrimage to take its time for the both of you. It is in part being isolated into the specific environments that assists in the development. On the other hand, we wanted you to enjoy each of the stations and not worry about the basics. I see. I figured the pilgrimage is not entirely taking place in the Boreas reality of everybody else, I muse. And there are a couple liberties. How about time? Is time running at the same pace in the pilgrimage and on Boreas? Or do I need to be prepared for an irregularity there too? I recall someone explaining it at some point, but can't recall the details. No, there are no irregularities for you when you go back. The liberties are within the pilgrimage and designed to have no effect on your reality, Omnist states. And that settles that. Not sure if I can follow this multiple realities running in parallel concept. I also don't think it matters or is required. So everything goes back to normal once I return? Yes, he confirms. Good enough for me. The time here will be mostly conversations. During our stay, we talk about Xavie's development. I think that he did catch up mostly to where he should be, and that he has found his own way to interact with the world. Him being observant first before trying on his own has become a pattern, after all. We talk about how this pilgrimage has affected me. Besides the slew of skills and respect for the crafts, it has given me a confidence in myself, taught me patience without ever demanding any, instilled a tremendous respect and commitment to our world, and ignited a resolve to be the change instead of waiting for the change to occur. Interestingly, Omnist does not talk much. He asks a question and then, mostly, listens. By doing this, I realize, he forces me to formulate my answers and put my learnings into words of my own, by myself. This requires ordering my thoughts and clarifying for myself what is important to me. Through this, what I had not consciously recognized becomes palpable and reality, becomes my self-discovery, manifests and solidifies my personal growth. I become aware of it for myself, by myself, because of myself. This time of reflection becomes a time of grounding, of finding my center again, the quiet within myself. It gives me a new peace and strength, assurance I can rely on myself. It strips away the haze and reveals in sharp outlines what I best can describe as my purpose, my calling. The days go by, everything I learned and discovered on this pilgrimage falling into place, creating a new picture of a whole. Watching Xavie, it's the same for him. He is barely recognizable as the one who embarked on this pilgrimage. No more shying away from contact or sensations on his body. No more locking up when everything becomes too much. He's grown considerably. He does not look asthenic anymore. He's confident in his movements. He has developed a way of learning by first observing a lot and then trying it himself and practicing, repeating until he is content with his results. He is still quiet, though. I guess this will stay. I have been marking the spot the sun sets on the horizon every evening since we arrived here. One evening in late August, after Xavie is in bed, I am sitting outside looking out over the land below in the west. I'm not seeing anything in particular, but all at once. I track the setting sun. It has been 2 months here and the days are already getting shorter. The sun setting a bit further south on the line of the horizon every day. I'm actually content with the calm, the isolation. Over these few couple weeks, I've learned that guidance is not giving answers, but asking questions and allowing the answers to develop. The act of answering is the discovery. It is not about knowing the answer. It is knowing which questions to ask. Where did the time go? I wonder aloud. I set out from Shamain in August 2 years ago. 2 years. Half of Xavie's life. Then it is just there, the undeniable certainty that it is time to go home. Before I can get up to see Omnist, he sits down beside me and says, "So, it is time." Not a question, but a statement. In that way he has. Yes. What else is there to say? Chapter 11. On Boreas, problems a community or tribe faces are solved by finding solutions that work for this tribe. Elders are the common way to exchange solutions to problems across tribes. While a solution might work for one tribe, it might not for another. Having an opportunity to exchange solutions helps each tribe find possible solutions for closer evaluation. In the end, it is the tribe that needs to find, decide on, and implement a solution for each situation. This, however, does not mean a tribe stands alone with a challenge, but they can rely on a collective knowledge of all of Boreas to inform potential solutions. Boreaspedia, 22nd edition. 26th August 06, 5th Epoch. Yalonde. The next morning, Omnist bids us our farewells. The night before, as I was watching the sunset, I collected a stone. It might be sentimental, but I wanted to have something to symbolize our time up here, what I learned about myself. It is tucked into our pack together with the other items we collected. The hermit tells us to descend at the rate we like. We can bypass stations, we can stay at stations. One night, multiple nights, as we see fit and as we wish. Finally, he tells me to return the stuff to where I got it from, the old healer. Then we start our descent. Going down is easier and faster than the way up. After around 3 hours, we arrive back at Dorasuris. The dwarf is standing in the huge doorway, leaning with her back against the pillar. "You're going to stay with me tonight. Won't take a no for an answer," she greets us. "Wasn't going to pass you by. After all, I need to check on that dragon gargoyle you've been carving," I wink at her. Xavie hugs her leg. I guess, if nothing else, that alone would have made the decision. The gargoyle is finished, and she managed to bring it alive. It's as undeniable as it is unbelievable. It's just stone, but it feels like you should hear, should smell, should fear it. I mean, it's going to spit water and not fire, but still, it's making an impression. The stay is wholesome. While we were gone for about 2 months, the pit has seen a bit of a progression, change. I'm reflecting on what I learned here, that consistency and small steps, given the time that is required, result in steady progress. Being away for even a short period of time shows exactly this. We continue on the next morning. After about another 3 hours, we are back to Kono's yurt. And while it is tempting, while it would be easy to enjoy each other one more day, or 2 or 3, it also does not feel right. There is no physical barrier, no problem with attraction. Completely to the contrary. Just seeing him has me yearning, and judging by his obvious reaction, I'm not alone. No, giving in to this urge has a feeling of desperation attached to it. That is an instant turn-off. No intimacy then, probably. We stick to an intense Aurora Densu and stuff session. Xavie following along as best as he can, and he is doing good. We stay at it until we are soaked once again, then keep practicing a bit more. I fall into that in-between space in my head, disassociated from my body while intensely attuned and perceptible to it at the same time. The yurt is the same, as are the sleeping arrangements. I don't mind, actually welcome it. We spent the night cradled by each other, resting and relaxing in the other's presence and warmth, basking in this small bubble of protected calm carved from reality. While it is unmistakable Kono would be willing and ready, and I know from the past, capable of satisfying my urges, it feels wrong. Going back to someone from the past, knowing it would be another last time, just feels like taking advantage. That is not how I want to remember him. or my time here. So here we are, both physically oh so ready, but one unwilling to spoil the memories already made. While lying there, I think about how important it is to take care of oneself. This includes indulging, but even more so, knowing when not to. In the morning, when we say our goodbyes, I know it was the right move. We added another good memory to the ones already there. It is valid, valuable, and right to listen to one's intuition. We return to the path and then descend, passing by the bridge and the waterfall. It is as impressive as I remember. I wonder how it is different between the reality of the pilgrimage and the regular Borean reality. If it's the same, I guess it would be worth the trip with a special someone someday. We take a break right beside the bridge on an outcropping that looks like a viewing platform. The thundering of the waterfall creates steady background noise, the mists creating a cocoon, keeping the world out and casting everything in a rainbow of colored light, like diamonds. We emerge out of the valley and the forest into the open area that is the sheep herders' rolling hills. We don't even have the cabin in sight when the barking of two dogs, seemingly propelled forward by their out-of-control wagging tails and chased by Apple, greets us. After an affectionate and emotional greeting, we make our way back to the cabin. Xavie insists on riding on Apple's shoulders. I have never seen him do this before, so it comes as an utter surprise to me. For dinner and into the evening, we build a campfire out with the flocks and sit and talk around it. At some point, Xavie falls asleep in Lily's arms. Sitting there, I'm reminded that working as a team is more than just the sum of the individuals. These three are so much more together, caring, supporting, and complementing each other. There is strength in a group like this. It being the second night past new moon, the stars twinkle much brighter in the clear sky, illuminating the land around us in faint, cold light. Three of us make our way back to the cabin. The coyotes are still active in the area, so two need to stay out with the flocks overnight. After an extended breakfast, we say our farewells and continue tracing back our steps. An hour before lunch, we emerge out of the forest and stand at the shores of the lake. While standing there, contemplating if I want to round the lake on the eastern end and visit the island on the western end tomorrow, on our way down to the next station, or if I want to round the lake on the western end and visit the island today, skipping it tomorrow, Heidi sets over in one of her boats. I guess that means I'll visit the island tomorrow on our way, and it will not be rounding the lake at all, but crossing it. We spent most of the afternoon in the water of the lake, swimming, diving, having a relaxed and good time in general. The next day, we make our way to the western end of the lake. There, I just have to visit this damned island. I don't know why, but there is a draw I simply have to give into. I cross over and climb over the rocks. Standing on the highest point, I look out over the valley, drinking in the sight. It might be some time before I see as tranquil, as quiet, as peaceful, as picturesque a valley again. Before I can make my way back to shore, I need to check out the rowboat laying in that recess. There is no explanation how it could have gotten there other than it being deliberately placed there. And that is an awful lot of effort, getting it up there into that recess. That begs the question, why? That is what I want to find out, have to find out. It is Xavie who finds the answer. I can't be sure this is the purpose. If not, though, it would be two odd things in the same spot. Under the rowboat, protected and sheltered by it, wrapped into multiple layers of waxed cloth and soft cloth, there is a wooden box, about 80-90 centimeters long, 15 centimeters by 10 high. It's well crafted, although undecorated. Opening it, I find an exquisite traditional two-part staff. I couldn't tell what kind of wood it is, but it feels solid and sturdy despite its lightness. I am certain this is no simple stuff, no matter the first impression it makes. I'm unsure what to do, so I wrap it back into the cloth and pack it into my backpack. I'll ask our next hosts. They should know, being part of the pilgrimage. And if not them, then the next one. Someone knows. Someone has to know. Getting up, my gaze falls over the lake, the valley. I'm reminded that even if it's inconvenient at times, things that need doing for a goal still should be done. And with pride. One never knows what you'll discover. Ironically, the discovery of the staff proves this point in such an over-the-top way that it is almost good again. Come on, Xavie, let's go. We turn, making our way down to the rock causeway, then over it and to the path leading down to the log home in the forest. Just before lunch, I haven't recognized how much time we spend on the island, we arrive. Yalonde squeals with delight when she sees Xavie. You have grown big. Are you strong too? They wander off. Hey Hayes, how are the trees? Any progress getting new growth in the wet area established? They behave. And yes, we've figured to build small islands in the wet area and have nursery trees established on them. This should help stabilize the area and create the protective cover we need. Also, new growth is established around the edges. Progress. Slowly, but progress nonetheless. We talk and walk the forest close to the house. While it is still the same, it also has changed. There is the occasional tree that now is only a stump. Every single tree has grown. This is especially noticeable with the younger ones close to where the loss of an older tree created room, opened a space. It is obvious the complete system that is a forest takes care of itself. Where there is an opening, younger trees race to fill it, and everything happens on a timescale that is so different from ours. Once Xavie is asleep, I unpack the box I found and ask both what they know about it. All we can tell you is that you are supposed to find something. This is all we know. We don't know who would know more, Yalonde says, while Hayes admires the box and caresses it gently with his fingers. It's a beautiful piece, a simple design with exquisite craftsmanship. The odd thing is, I could not take a guess at what kind of wood it is. Hayes says thoughtfully. Now that is surprising. We talk some more about how Xavie has developed and how our pilgrimage went since we left. In the morning, after an extended breakfast, we leave for the farm. The path is uneventful, like the past several days. One could get the impression that the world wants to make it easy for us to return. And having descended in altitude substantially in the last few days, it gets noticeably warmer. As we approach the farmstead, I see the gold of the ripening grain through the branches while emerging out of the forest, just like the last time we traveled to this farmstead. It is just a different direction. Our reception is as affectionate as it was the last 5 stations. It has been 2 years since we first arrived here. The further down we get, the longer the time grows since our hosts have seen Xavie or me. Naturally, the difference becomes far more obvious and pronounced. But what has not changed is Soren's passion for cooking. Once the meals are served, all the peculiarities are forgotten. They've raided the veggie garden, the orchard. There's fresh bread and honey. It's a feast. These two also can't tell me anything about the box and staff I found. The last leg of our return trip brings us down to the base station in the little grove. Emerging out of the thicket, turning the last bend, the camp comes into view. Haylor is sitting in front of her tent, tending a small campfire, obviously ready to get some lunch going. Xavie lets out an excited squeal and launches himself into Halo's arms. After a sumptuous lunch, Halo asks to be caught up on everything we've done since we left. Recounting everything, I end with the box. At that, she gets excited and asks to see. She marvels at it, and when she opens it, she lets out a whistle. This is some exquisite work. If I am not mistaken, the staff is crafted out of white oak, either from the remote hills southeast of the Smoky Mountains or from the middle altitude groves around South Little Rock. The craft is exceptional. Well, now what? Whom does it belong to? Where does it need to go? Nobody so far could tell me anything of use. The only thing I was told is that I was supposed to find something. I asked, even more dumbfounded why such a piece would be left there. What you are supposed to find is something fitting and personal for you, she explains, sitting back and fixing me with her eyes. You must have realized by now this pilgrimage is as much about Xavie as it is about you. How can Xavie realize his potential if you're held back? No, you need to be your best possible self for Xavie to reach his potential. It looks like you found yourself while practicing with the staff. This is why you found a staff. It's for you. It is what you take away for you and a reminder to keep working, keep practicing in this case, and continue to become better. It is mine, I whisper. It does somehow not compute. How can this prize simply be mine? I don't think I've ever owned anything remotely as valuable, as exquisite as this. It is yours, Halo confirms, nodding. She pushes the still open box, sitting on a bed of opened layers of clothes, over the table back toward me. She nods again and indicates with a gesture of her hand that it's mine. I'm dumbfounded. Absent-mindedly, I take out the staff and assemble it. It's the first time I'm putting it together. The smoothness of how it goes together and the fit are more testaments to the craftsmanship. Once assembled, only the break in the grain of the wood gives a faint indication the staff has two parts. Like in a trance, I get up and start with the basic staff movements. Muscle memory takes over, guiding me, steering me, keeping me grounded in myself. It is nearly dinner time when I emerge out of wherever in my head I went. Xavie and Halo are watching me. Nothing to see here, I mumble, embarrassed. Everything to see, Halo counters. It is plainly obvious why you received the staff. Remember that. Remember today. Go back to this moment when things get out of hand. I nod, not sure how else to react, taking the staff apart and putting it back into its box. Then I wrap it and put it away into my pack, and we have dinner. Afterwards, I go refresh myself in a nearby small stream before bringing Xavie to bed. I don't stay long after. This trip down from the hermit's cave has been training. Not physically, no, more mentally, as it is a fast version of the last 2 years, of Xavie's development, my learning our pilgrimage, and how it has changed the trajectory of our lives, all compressed into a few days. The next morning, we restock, then clean up our camp. Even though it's not necessary, this is about my values, my ethics, to leave what somebody left for me in an orderly fashion. Once I'm satisfied, we'll leave for the old healer, Sela. It takes us 3 days to get back to Sela, as on the way out, we stay overnight with him. He accepts the pilgrimage staff back, but does not probe for details of our pilgrimage. While I'm not certain I'm ready to share too many of the details of what I learned about myself with the world, I think Sela needs to know some things. After all, he's like a gatekeeper for this pilgrimage, requiring the knowledge of how it helped for everyone seeking him out after me. This brings up another question I have for him. Selah, I was wondering. I trail off for a moment and he looks at me, inviting me silently to continue. Are you part of the pilgrimage of what the folks of old left in our world? He smiles. No. He shakes his head, a hint of melancholy around his eyes. I'm not. I'm older than I look, but I'm from this time, same as you and Xavie. Being one of the keepers of the staff, the emblem, extends my life, but I will soon need to find my follower, the next keeper. My time on Boreas will come to an end. I'll leave it at that. If he'd wanted to share more, he would have. I tell him of our pilgrimage, not in full detail, but the big picture. I don't dwell on my personal development much, but I explain everything Xavie accomplished, learned, and overcame. This is, after all, what the pilgrimage was for. He has not shared any details of the ones before us, and I trust he will not share any details with the ones that come after us. I share, however, that I received the stuff. He is eager to see it and marvels at it. In that moment, watching Selah stroke his hands over the staff sitting in its box, I know I will not share much of this pilgrimage, what I learned about myself with the world. There will never be a reason to share details. It is my personal growth. It changed me, and folks in my tribe will recognize a change in me. Of this I am certain, but I know sharing does no one any good. It is not something that can be taught or learned. It needs to be experienced. So I thank him for all he did and how he went about it when we sought him out. He is the keeper and did this function, this purpose, proud. 9 September 06, 5th epoch. After 107 weeks, just under 25 months, I return to Shamain. It is about an hour until sunset when I cross the town square. I left for the pilgrimage at a time when Xavie and I were due to move from the house of the newborn to the house of the young. We never completed the move. Instead, I packed up everything we owned before we left to vacate the spot in the house of the newborn. I'm guessing we'll be moving into the house of the young, but I don't know if there is room available. Everybody who was in the house of the newborn when we left will have moved on to the house of the young. They all have given birth, are mothers now themselves. I can bet there are many tales and stories about where we went, each more fantastic and outrageous than the last. And I'm certain not a single one gets even close to what actually was. This thought makes me smile inside and out. It is with this smile on my face that I meet Serena, Xavie walking beside me, clutching my hand. Serena does a double take. Is this really you, Yalonde? I did not know when to expect you back, but I never figured you'd be gone this long. You look good, healthy and well, and something else. Hi, Serena. Yeah, it caught me off guard when I learned how long this has been. But to be honest, I did not realize it had been this long. And what do you mean with something else? I cock my head slightly and watch her, waiting. I don't know. You've changed. Still you, I think, but changed. Matured into your role as mother. That's not all, though. She cocks her head and narrows her eyes to slits. I wait. You have much more patience and experience. You found a purpose. Is that it? I nod. Do you still have my stuff? And where can we stay? Interesting. Yes, we still have your belongings. And your place in the house of the young is available to you. How is Xavie? That works. I nod, and we start walking towards the house of the young. Xavie is doing good. I don't have any comparison, but he's talking. He is stacking all kinds of things, and as you can see, he is walking and running. He is on the quiet side, but that is not a real surprise. He has a way observing for a while before trying something new. And I know he had a good time. Let's get you set up. Then we can get your belongings, Serena relents. We can talk later, if you will share, that is. The House of the Young is a place where mothers and their youngsters can stay until the youngster, or if she has more than one, the youngest, is around the age of 12. The mothers support each other with the upbringing, taking care of and educating the young and allowing the mothers to contribute to society more as a group than the individuals could. The House of the Young is also a tremendous benefit to the young in that they grow up in a group and develop their social skills from a very young age. It is naturally ingrained to look after the good of the group first and individual perks after. The young growing up in homes spend most of their day in the House of the Young as well, as education for all happens here until the age of maturity. Once we are settled in, I give Xavie a bath to shrub off the road. Clearly, everybody is bursting with curiosity, but at the same time they have the restraint to not bombard us with questions. There are many familiar faces. Once we've had dinner and Xavie is in bed, I go to wash off the truffles as well. I meet a couple of the other mothers in the bathing chamber, and it is not at all awkward, even after all this time more or less alone. There is something to be said about living through defining moments together. This cuts away many of the superficial attitudes. You look leaner, stronger, Bettina says. She has a black-haired girl 2 months younger than Xavie. This is how we start talking a bit. And yes, the variety of stories that went around is as wild as one could imagine. Wilder even. Sorry to disappoint, I shrug. Before we left, you probably remember that Xavie showed slower than usual development. After consulting with the elders, I learned of an old healer in a village a few days' travel from here. At some point, I made the decision to seek out this healer, and he sent us on a pilgrimage. That is all. So, you went on this pilgrimage and it took you this long to come back? Bettina asks with incredulity. Yes, it's about giving the youngster the time and a new environment to find their own way. You can't rush that. It takes the time it takes, I tell her, unapologetic. It's what it is. And did it work? Bettina asks with a raised eyebrow. I think so. And I mean it. Although we will see in the next few days, once Xavie is together with the other youngsters. I don't have any comparison, so I can't be certain. I shrug. We will see, indeed. Over the next few days, Xavie reintegrates into the group of youngsters. On the third day after we returned, I drop him off to the schooling done by the sages and elders, although I linger with some of the other mothers to see how he is integrating into the group. As I already knew, he is quiet and observes first. What surprises me is that he is more restrained and exhibits more self-control compared to the others. I had hoped he had at least closed the gap of his development, if not caught up. But for him to show clearly more restraint and self-control, now that truly caught me off guard. A few days later, I have no hesitation leaving Xavie. I start using the time for Aurora Dansu and practice with my staff and the karambits. I'm also talking with the elders, looking into my options for how I can contribute to society while doing what would align with my talents and preferences, and also what would have a positive impact on the world, on Boreas. It takes 2 weeks before Eris shows her face. I did not seek her out. I figured she'd show up once she's ready. Composed. Oh, she would have heard that I'm back within the hour of our return, I have no doubt. I know this tribe. Hey, Eris, I greet her cautiously. She's cornered me while I'm sitting in the garden in front of the house of birth and departure, by the very same camellia sinensis Serena was trimming that faithful morning after the Esther Festival celebration 4.5 years ago. I'm soaked in sweat after a couple hours Aurora Dansu and staff practice. My staff in its simple yet elegant box lays to my left. Hey, Yalonde. She's careful. Does not look at me. It means she's unsure. Of what? I'm not certain. I pat the place beside me to my right, an invitation. She sits on the edge, wringing her fingers, her gaze to her feet in front of her. She's not sure if I'm mad. I reach over with my right hand, squeeze her hands, her fingers still. After a heavy sigh, she slowly looks up as if it is an effort for her. You're not mad at me? It's barely a whisper, barely more than the leaves rustling all around us. I simply shake my head and smile. No, I know you. I know how me getting pregnant with Xavie shred your world, your plans apart. If at all, I'm disappointed you did not come to me then, so that we could put this back to order for you, together. It has always been us. I get quieter with every word. I did not realize the last part before I said it out loud. Her tears are flowing now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. First, I did not know how to react. Then I got so angry. I don't know why or what. I needed to cool off. You were so occupied and distracted, not yourself when your Xavie had his problems, she trails off. I needed you then, I whisper, realizing it as I say it. And I could not be there. I was not ready, she admits. Then you left, trying to find help somewhere else. I nod. Not that it happened like I thought it would. I expected to be gone a week or two, maybe. A hollow laugh escapes me. That was a lifetime ago. I know. I can see that. You have changed a lot. Eris now really looks at me. Then we embrace. Hard, long tears wash away years of missed opportunities. We sit long and talk. At one point, Serena brings us a lunch. Looks like this mending, this reunion, did not go unnoticed. Eris tells me she got desperate to get her family started. She still dreams of finding her mate and even keeps her hopes up for a bonded mate. Mates are exceedingly rare, and bonded mates are scarce even among mated pairs. She knows that, but does not want to accept it yet. No point in arguing with her. Her concern was that she was running out of time to start her family, her plans. She is still young, the same age as me. She has years, decades to bear youngsters. I don't tell her that. Biology and her plans are two entirely different things. I have a feeling there is something else. What is it you are not telling me? I prompt. Her eyes snap to mine, looking up from my staff in her lap that she has been examining. How? I know you. You're closest to me, perhaps other than Xavie. But that is different. I smile at her, and I mean it. She takes a deep breath. I figured I would start my family, maid or not. That was my plan when I attended the fire festival to get pregnant. It did not work. So I tried again on the summer solstice festival. I failed again. It's so typical for her to work herself up, to blame herself when something does not go to her plans. I squeeze her hand and prompt. But I remembered how it happened for you, even if you did not mean to, even if it should not have happened for you. I attended the Dark Chamber during the Lunasa festival. For some reason, I could relax, enjoy. I stayed long, and I enjoyed like I never had before in my life. I couldn't walk without feeling it for days. She grows quiet. Then she whispers, I'm pregnant, a festival youngster. And that brings us to the end of this reading. Did you see this twist with Eris coming? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to explore more of this world, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter at the link in the description. It's where I share all my secret projects and early updates first. Next time, in part 9, we'll see if Yalonde and Eris can mend their friendship. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, or click the playlist right here to catch up on any episodes you've missed. Peace.